Katie bar the door. We've got a guest host. Ryan Gresham steps in on this gun talk hunt, talking with Mike Tussey of Osceola Outdoors and Nomad Clothing, and Joe Ferronato, managing editor of Petersen's Hunting. It's all right here. We're talking hogs, gators, turkeys, and more. Gun Talk Hunt is brought to you by Vortex Optics. Lockdown, secure your lifestyle, and Timney Triggers, the world's finest triggers.
All right, welcome in. This is Gun Talk Hunt, and no, I'm not Kevin Jarnigan, your host today. I'm Ryan Gresham, because we are on location in South Florida at Osceola Outdoors. I say it right, Mike?
Yes, you did.
Thank God. All right, so why don't you guys introduce yourself to our audience?
All right, I'm Mike Tussey. I own and operate Osceola Outdoors. I also work for Nomad Outdoors as the community director. There I take care of the media, do things like this. I take care of our TV shows and, work with our pro staff there.
Nomad hunting clothing.
Correct.
For all kinds of stuff.
Yep. We have a lot of different camo patterns with mossy oak, real tree, and that. And then we have a sister company called Hook Fishing.
Yep, a lot of people know that one. It's a big company.
Yes.
Yeah. And Joe, tell people what you do.
Joe Ferronato, and I'm the managing editor at Petersen's Hunting Magazine.
So, we're down here in South Florida, and this is a really cool trip, and it's put on by EOTech, VUDU Optics. They invited us down here to really test out the products, and I think people always give me a hard time because they're like, oh, you have to go hunting again. Okay, for work.
For your job.
Yeah, for your job. But it is fun, but it is a great way to test the products out. And sometimes there's kind of some revelations with this stuff. So we are doing turkey and gator. Talk about your gator today.
Oh man, it was a different experience. Like I've never done it before. Before coming to Florida this time, I'd never seen a gator.
Okay.
And
because you're up in Montana.
Yeah, up in Montana.
Not a lot of gators.
Not a lot of gators. But no, it was really cool. We spent a lot of time working around on the dikes, like looking in the canals that they use for drainage and irrigation. And man, there were gators everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like you drive 5 feet, see one, drive another 5 feet, and it's like, oh, there's another one.
It's funny because it feels like a stereotype. Oh, gators, Florida, but it's kind of true, right?
It is. We have two types of gator hunts in Florida. We have private land tags, which are management tools that landowners use to manage the gator populations. And then we have public land hunts that are done on public waters. On our private land hunts, we can use rifle, bow, we can use basically any means to do it. On our public water hunts, they have to be done with bow fishing rig. You can use a snatch hook, catch them, but you have to finish them off with a bang stick. You cannot use a rifle or a pistol.
Wow.
Yep. So a little bit different on both hunts. And we were doing private land tags is what we were doing this week here with EOTech.
Which enables us to
use the VUDU scope.
Use the VUDU scope. So the scope we're using is a 1 to 10.
Correct.
Which is cool in itself. And I'm gonna talk to the VUDU EOTech guys for Gun Talk Nation and get kind of all the skinny on that. I won't hold you guys to know
One
all
of the coolest things about it though, like they kept the objective a little bit bigger.
Yes.
Than like your standard like 1 to whatever scopes. And it captures light phenomenally well.
Yeah, it's a 34 millimeter tube.
Yeah.
And it was, what I found was the 1 to 10, you go, well, okay, these were actually pretty close shots. I mean, I think they say the average shot is 50 yards or closer, something like that. So you go, well, you don't need a lot of magnification. Well, but you also have to make a precise shot. I mean, it's
correct.
I mean, a zone of maybe 2-3 inches.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, it's a golf ball size, shot that you got to make between the eye and the ear hole, putting it right in the brain pan for a gator. So very, very small target.
Yeah. So I mean, I know what I did. I kept it on 2, maybe 1 power, and just find the gator, and then I'd kind of just crank it up until it just felt right.
Yeah, just enough where you could like really tell what's going on his head, like see the detail between the eye and the ear hole and make sure you're going to put it in the right spot.
Yeah. So how far was your shot? It was pretty close?
It was pretty close, probably roughly 40 yards.
Yeah.
Somewhere right there.
Yeah, I think mine was 30 or something like that. But, I mean, all he gave me was the only thing I could see on the whole gator was his eyes and just a couple inches behind the eyes. So which is kind of worked out since it was the part I was supposed to shoot. But I mean,
use the line of the water, like there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see his back, his tail, nothing else. He was under all these lily pads, and you're going. It's kind of, he must thought he was pretty well hidden.
I think they're hidden, basically, what they do. They stay still. They think they're camouflaged, and they're not going to move until, they think you actually see them. So,
right, yeah. So that's been a lot of fun. The gator, I mean, I was amazed at learning a little bit more about the gators. He said that, because mine was a 10-footer, yours was a 10-footer.
Yep.
He said the gator might be 40 to 50 years old.
Oh, easy. They grow probably about a foot a year until they're about 5-6 years old, and then it's an inches game after that.
Yeah, he said 2 to 3 inches a year. No, is that right? 2 to 3 inches a year, and it depends on what they eat, and the weather conditions, and all this other stuff. But I mean, if you get to 4 feet, and then it's 2 to 3 inches a year after that, you start going, oh wow, yeah, it would take a long time to get that other. Get
those other feet that
get to 10 feet. But gator's great to eat. People always go, what does it taste like? Yeah. I mean, it's sort of, people will joke it tastes like chicken, but I think it's kind of like pork to me. It's kind of a white meat.
Yeah, very, very white meat. It's tender, and it's very, very good.
Yeah, it's great. Blackened.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Louisiana. So jambalaya and gumbo, maybe, gator chili. Will you have a favorite recipe?
I like just fried gator. I like fried gator nuggets. Yeah, that's our thing. We have something in Florida called Everglades seasoning that we use, and we put that on all of it and fry it up, and they're awesome.
That's awesome. So I mean, that's been fun. I mean, it's like hunting dinosaurs.
It really is. They're such crazy animals. I mean, just looking at them, you're like, yeah, that's prehistoric right there. That's like nothing else you see anywhere.
Yeah. But what I guess that was a fun side dish, but I think the main thing here is the turkeys. It feels like this is your bag. Right,
oh
Mike?
yeah, Osceola turkeys. I've been doing Osceola turkey hunts here in Florida since 2000 with Osceola Outdoors. Started it then, and I mean I travel all over the country, working with Nomad and taking outdoor riders and working with the TV shows. So as soon as I leave Florida, I'll be on the road until 1st of June, hunting. I don't know how many different states. Back to Mexico 2 more times to hunt down there. Wow! And then so I'll be on the road, tearing it up, shooting turkeys.
How are these Osceola turkeys different from other turkeys?
Oh, smaller turkey.
Okay.
They're recognized really by what's called their wing bars. On their wings, on most turkeys, they have a solid white bar going across their wing primary feathers. Osceola turkeys are broken. So the broken white wing bars is what they're really noted for. Little darker color and longer legs are what the Osceolas are for.
Longer legs.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's walking through the water all the time.
What about their behavior? Do they gobble? Do they?
Yeah, chasing turkeys now, all the times I have, Osceolas gobble just as much as any other turkey, I think. I mean, they're more aggressive, I think, than any other turkey I've hunted. They do react to decoys. We used a shredder decoy. You used a shredder decoy. Yes. And what happened? Here come the gobbler strutting right into it.
Yeah.
So they're very, very aggressive turkeys. Yours jumped on the decoy.
Oh, he attacked it. It was awesome.
Yeah. If Joe would have let his go, I'm sure it would have jumped right on the decoy.
Yeah.
But
you didn't give him the chance to.
No. But they are. They're more aggressive, I think, than any other turkey.
Well, and I kind of noticed one thing about them too. It seems like their spurs are just so much bigger than other turkeys that I've seen. And
I think that happens down here. It's habitat at that point. Soft ground, farmland. You got cattle pastures. They're not rubbing them on rocks. Not what a Gould's is or a Miriam turkey running up and down the mountains and getting them broke off on rocks and that type thing. So spur length is a big thing with them.
They're so sharp. Did you feel yours?
Oh yeah,
they're sharp.
Yeah.
Like I was very impressed. I was like, I wouldn't want that thing kicking me.
No, I mean, I picked it up and I poked myself, just not noticing where I was grabbing. It was like, whoa, hey.
You're like, oh, that's not comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do they'll fight each other. They use this.
Oh, they use the spurs, and we've cleaned some turkeys this year that had puncture marks in their breast where they have been fighting. They weren't gunshots; they were puncture marks from other turkeys, where they fight all the time. And that's why we use the strutter decoys, and they're very aggressive, and they come into those decoys, and it helps us, harvest the birds.
ATN, I don't think there's any part of the outdoor industry that has experienced more growth than thermal imaging, night vision, and ATN is a leader. They are the future of optics at ATN, and they are top of the line performance with state-of-the-art technology at a price we all can afford, and I think we all love that, whether it's your Thor LT, your OTS LT, and man, so many more from the thermal night vision company ATN. They're bringing you scopes so you can see better at night. Go give them a check. And also, if you're a hunter, you're a shooter, which if you're listening to this podcast, I really hope you are. If not, we love you anyway. But ATN Optics will give you the edge that you need to perform better and bring home the big prize. We all want that, right? Check out ATNcorp.com. Timney Triggers. They are the world's finest triggers. I have many of them. One of my favorites actually is the Remington 700 trigger in my custom build. I built it from the ground up, and I love that gun, and I especially love the crisp break of a Timney trigger. And man, if you've been making triggers since 1946 and it all started at a kitchen table, I appreciate you, because you know what? You don't have to be a dang gunsmith to do this thing. All right, to install these Timney triggers, it's super easy. Go give them a look at timneytriggers.com.
So I got to tell you about how this went down with my bird. So we were talking about it a little bit, but we get set up. Well, we hunted for the whole morning, and this one bird we were chasing, he just didn't want to cooperate. He didn't want to come in. So we moved to another spot on this horse farm, and we set out the decoys, and everything was cool. But apparently, horses are attracted to turkey decoys.
They're very curious. Same thing with cows. You put out decoys, and the next thing you know, you got cows, you got horses. They're putting their nose on them.
They were.
They're
putting their nose on the decoy.
Yeah.
We may have thrown a small stick or two at them. We didn't hit any of the horses, but no horses were harmed in the harming of the turkey.
Yeah. I know some guys that keep slingshots.
Really?
Yeah, just to keep the cows out of the decoys. Pop a cow, it runs off. Now you don't have to worry about the cows getting in the decoys anymore.
But I mean, we started calling. He started strutting in. He was working out, and then here come the horses again. And he did jump up and attack the decoy, which was really cool. We got that on camera, and then I was just waiting for the horses to clear out, and they did. It was kind of a tight shot, but my guide said, "You're clear," and it looked clear to me, and so we took it. It was good. Turkey went down. Horses are fine and all that, but you just got to be. It was kind of one of those reminder things for me of going. Need to be extra careful.
Yeah, need to be vigilant. Need to know where this shot is going to go.
Yeah, extra careful about that.
Shoot somebody's horse.
Yeah, they don't take kindly to that. Talk about the gear and how it's changed in turkey hunting, Mike.
Oh, man. I actually started turkey hunting in 1989 when I moved to Florida from Kentucky. Grew up in eastern Kentucky, so eastern Kentucky boy, grew up. We had no turkey hunting. There was not a population of huntable turkeys in eastern Kentucky. Moved to Florida.
Is there now?
Yes, yeah, big population. And I'll actually be up there next week doing a media hunt with outdoor riders in eastern Kentucky, going back home, kind of back to my roots and doing a hunt then. But I got down here, man, there was all kinds of turkeys down here. And like, okay, I'd never turkey hunted. Took it up right away. And the bug hit me. I mean, absolutely hit me. Mossy oak camouflage had come out back in 1986,
right?
And so it's 1989. So I'm buying the bottomland camo and getting all dressed up to go turkey hunt. Wasn't long after that, I'm buying a new Remington shotgun, with the camouflage pattern on it, the green leaf pattern, and those are really collectible today. Those 99, 90, 92 turkey guns. That were really the first turkey guns that came out, specialized. Things that have changed over the years now, reflex sights. little red dots.
Yeah.
A lot of people are putting those on there. And
Yeah.
I didn't put it on there until a few years ago, and it became a necessity for me. Wearing glasses and trying to, get my head down on a bead. I was missing turkeys.
Sure.
And the blur, the dot, or the front bead, I wasn't seeing it. So I actually put.
It seems like they're even more of a necessity too, like with the evolution of turkey ammo.
Exactly.
Because back in the day, your patterns at 35 yards were this big, and now
pretty
they're
big.
this big.
Now you can put on a full choke, and you have
extra full choke.
Full choke.
Yeah.
And you shoot some distance.
Oh yeah, no. And you're shooting tungsten now, TSS. The hardest alloy that you can have in a shell, and the ranges that you have now on turkeys are incredible. When you pattern a turkey gun, it's been kind of uniform that people pattern a turkey gun at 40 yards.
Right.
See how many pellets you get in a 10-inch circle at 40 yards. And the thing is, you want a 90% of that pattern in that 10-inch circle. So 40 yards, in the TSS shells, some of these guns are putting 460, 470 pellets in a 10-inch circle at 40 yards.
Well,
and
because
you're shooting number 9.
I was about to say,
Exactly.
the pellets are smaller because the tungsten's denser, you can get away with it.
Yes.
Number 9 shot, which, we don't use number 9 for pretty much anything.
No, you don't. You've always used them 7.5 for 8s, and that's it.
Yeah.
Number 9 shot, you're thinking about going, to the skeet range is what you're thinking about shooting number 9s. But nowadays, you have the evolution. I think that's really what's brought on the reflex sights, like you mentioned, is at 10 yards, you're shooting a rifle.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you have to be precise. And the new red dot sights are making people precise and keeping your head down and seeing where that's at. And you're shooting little patterns, real, 50-cent piece patterns.
And I ought to mention that the optic we're using is new from EOTech this year, the E-Flex. And I liked it on the shotgun. I thought it worked great.
No, I did too. I really, really enjoyed it. I've never ever used one before. I've shot handguns with reflex sights, but I've never had it on a rifle or a shotgun or anything. So it took a little bit of getting used to, because I'm so used to just slamming my head down, getting that cheek weld and being, right on the barrel so I could see that bead, especially when turkey hunting. And when my bird came in today, I was just like, slammed my head down, and I was like, oh, wait a second, it's right up here.
Because the shotguns we're using, it has a Picatinny rail on top.
So it's a little bit higher.
Which makes it easy to mount, but it makes it a little higher.
Yep.
And you've got a little mounting system with the EOTech E-Flex. So yeah, you're almost a kind of a chin weld instead of a cheek weld.
You're shooting a rifle sight at that time, especially what you're shooting. Your head is up and your cheek's not down on the stock. So you get used to it. You pattern the guns, you get used to doing that. With the EOTech, what I really like was going brightness and really dimming that switch down. When I was playing with it and shooting it, low light conditions, you can brighten it up a little bit. At the sun, when the sun gets out, brighten it up a little bit. Low light conditions like we had this morning, you can
turn it down.
Exactly.
Dim
And
it
it's
down
easy.
to where it disappears, and then bump it back up.
That's exactly what I did this morning. And a trick I learned from somebody a few years back is, I think they have it's in a 3 MOA and a 6 MOA dot are the two variations. The ones we have are 3 MOA.
3 MOA.
But one of the things, if you want to get a little bit more precision, is dim it down.
Dim it down.
Yeah.
Because if you have it all the way up, there's a lot of
Ambient
bloom
light,
to it. So yeah, this morning it was sun coming up. It was foggy, and I had it turned down at that point. I want to go back to. So the ammunition we're using is crazy. This 2 1/4 ounce
2 1/4 ounce load
of shot
of number 9 TSS.
Yeah, and we did the math on it just sitting around having beers, and it's like a 900 grain bullet.
Like 984 grain.
984 grain bullet, to just give you an idea of, because we say, it's an ounce a shot, or this is 2 1/4 ounce a shot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I will say, you guys were kind enough to sight in the guns, because we got in late the first night, and you said, this thing kicks. Fortunately, the very first time I shot it, I was staring at the first turkey I've ever shot in my life. Guess what? I didn't feel any recoil at all.
You don't feel it when there's a
nothing.
turkey in front of you.
No. It's magic.
You know, when we put it, we just used some dove loads and stuff to get a rough pattern, and then put a couple of shots of the TSS through it. And John from EOTech gets down, and he's not super hard on it because, you know, they've been just super gentle.
Target
and
loads.
it just rocked his world. I mean, he just went.
It's worse on the bench. It's
always way worse on the bench. Yeah, always way worse. And he just like looked up at us and he's like, that has some power to it. It was hilarious.
Yeah. But the one thing also that it's happened now with the evolution of turkey hunting is with the Apex ammunition, all the other companies that are doing TSS, it's bringing up sub gauges.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody used to shoot 12 gauge shotguns at turkeys. Now people are shooting 20 gauges. People are shooting 28 gauges. People are shooting 410s.
The 410s are a big thing. We actually just had an article in our kind of spring issue and talking about using 410s for turkeys. And it's just kind of like up in the game. I would kind of equate it to, you know, switching to archery tackle in a rifle hunting situation. You know, you're just trying to give yourself that extra challenge.
Yeah. I mean, and we always said a 410 is just like a thimble full of shot. It's not, it's barely there. But if you're able to go to 9-shot,
an ounce load.
And an ounce?
I think they're doing 7/8 and maybe 1 ounce load.
Yeah, I think there are 1 ounce loads out there.
That's still
seven-eighths.
a significant amount of pellets at a particular distance, you know, as long as you know what your limits are.
Yeah.
Joe, this is not related, but I wanted to get into it a little bit and talk about mountain lion hunting.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's exciting.
You've been getting after the mountain lions this year.
Yeah, we run a lot. I have 2 good buddies in the Bozeman area that have hounds, and one of them is my best friend. And as soon as lion season opens December 1st, it's, you know, alarm clocks are set for, you know, 1:30 a.m. and we're going and looking for tracks, you know, hiking different trails, you know, jumping on the snowmobiles, running roads, and just looking for tracks. And it is a blast. And my biggest thing with it is, like, everybody says it's easy. Like, using dogs is easy because we run with hounds, and everybody's like, oh yeah, you know, it's cheating. You know, the lion doesn't have a fair chance. It's far from easy. Anybody who thinks that mountain lion hunting is easy, please come. You can go on any race with us.
I mean, you guys are covering some ground.
Yeah,
with those dogs.
we'll cover a lot of ground. The dogs obviously cover a lot more, but we've had races that will take us, you know, 12 miles and 3,000 feet of elevation gain into just some nasty hellholes with you know, 2-3 feet of snow on the ground. Like, it could be really brutal. Last year, my buddy killed a really big tom. It was like over 180 pounds, which in Montana is pretty much unheard of. Wow. And it took them 17 hours from when they turned the dogs loose to get back to the truck with that lion.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And what are you typically using as, you can do it with archery or gun, right? What are you typically using?
So I always prefer archery tackle. It's just kind of my go-to. And when I can hunt with a bow, I'm going to pick up my bow. But lots of guys will use just short-barreled 6.5 Creeds or even smaller. They killed that cat with a 10mm Glock 20.
Okay.
Last year, so
wow.
Yeah, they didn't even take a rifle because it just got too hard. They actually had another person with them that was going to shoot the cat and couldn't make it because it was
just too far.
Too far.
Oh my gosh.
So they just we all carried Glock 20 as our sidearm in bear country, and you know, with lions, it's just always good to have something. Yeah. And they got to the tree and they were just going to retrieve the dogs, because once you turn the dogs loose, like, it is your responsibility. Like, you have to get
committed
to that tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no calling them off of it. Like, even with the e-collars, like, and you lose service on them super quick in that country. So you have to get to the tree, and you have to get to the tree as fast as you can, because when they're sitting there baiting at the tree, they're the perfect bait for wolves.
Oh, wow.
And we got a lot of wolves in the area.
Wolves kind of know to come in?
Yep. They'll just come in and, like, sometimes they'll eat them. Sometimes they'll just come in and kill them and just walk away. It's like a territorial thing. Yeah. And so, like, my best friend, he can hike. Like, he can hike fast. And as soon as we let the dogs go, whoever's with us, it's like, follow our tracks. Like, you'll see us at the tree, because it's just got to get there.
Yeah.
It's
I can't wait for you to keep up.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yep. Just follow our tracks and get to the tree when you get to the tree. But we have to be at that tree as fast as we can.
So, I mean, how long does it take? I mean, I guess it just depends on as far as you find tracks and then you let the dogs loose. You can kind of tell if the tracks are recent, right?
Yeah, so especially in the snow, like you could tell if they're, old or new, 1 day old track, 2 day old track, smoking hot, fresh track.
Yeah.
And you're just looking at the way the pad is at the ground. You're looking at how it's melted, if it's frozen, all sorts of different things. And then obviously like the dogs will be the key teller in that situation. If they put their nose in it, there's no scent, it's not a good track.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's different scent conditions. So if it's too cold, scent's not good. Like the scent just doesn't stick in the snow and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll find tracks, at 2 a.m, and then you sit on them until sunrise because you can't let go until the sun's up.
Yeah.
So we'll just sit there and wait for them because it's pretty competitive. Like there's not very many spots where you could easily access the spots where they go. But lots of times these cats will, especially the toms, will be cruising to look for females.
Right.
And they'll cross these main drainages, these main thoroughfares, and you'll just have to get in their ways, hike these trails. Like we'll go to, several different trails, hike 2 miles in on each one. And
Has it become more popular to do mountain lion hunting?
I think so. I think it's a little bit of a fad in the hunting space right now, especially in Montana. Like it seems like everybody wants to get out and chase cats.
Yeah.
But it's growing in popularity, but the houndsman community isn't really growing.
So how do you, if you lose the GPS signal on a collar, how do you keep up with the dogs?
We'll just get on the track that was sent to the GPS.
Okay, what if you got no snow? Are you all running dry ground?
No,
You don't run dry ground.
You have to do it in
I have
snow.
one buddy who runs dry ground, and he has really good dogs for it. But most of the dogs we run over really just won't take a dry ground track. So like if
There's more scent in the snow as well?
Yep. Yeah, and they also see the track. So like when they're running, they're just looking at the track and running. And then when they get to dry ground situations, like the scent doesn't hold as well, like at least for a longer period of time. Like it has to be super fresh for
You
them
need
to
the
get a good
moisture.
scent. Yeah. And it's really hard for a lot of dogs. But I have another friend who has phenomenal dry ground dogs. I watched those dogs track a cat 8 miles.
No kidding.
All
On
dry ground. Yeah. There were little patches of snow that the cat may have stepped in once or twice.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was solid majority just dry ground. And he goes and runs them in Utah, so lots of dry ground running down there.
Yeah.
And that's a little different. But the GPS does have like a saved track of where the dogs went.
It does. I mean, all these hogs here, we run dogs here for hogs, very similar. But down here on the flat ground, I mean, most of the time it's a mile, maybe 2 miles at the max that you're actually trying to follow a dog on a GPS. So you got the GPS signal a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can hear the dogs, baying just like we could hear dogs baying for the hogs down here.
Absolutely.
And stuff. But I was wondering in those mountains if you could even hear.
So that's one thing. One thing we'll do. We'll if we lose them and we can't get a track or anything, we'll just get up to the highest point we can and listen, or try and get signal back to the GPS. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, we are sitting. I mean, a lot of people listen to this podcast. Obviously, it's a podcast, but we do film it, and we're sitting in the lodge here, and there are a bunch of big hogs behind us. I actually didn't even talk about that. I did get to shoot a hog.
Yeah, you did.
We were on this sugarcane farm, and it was just a kind of a target of opportunity situation. We saw this group of hogs about 400 yards off. We snuck to about 150 yards. And one thing we didn't talk about is that VUDU scope, the illuminated reticle. And I mean, we're talking a black reticle on a black hog can be kind of a challenge a little bit. And I totally cheated and said, boop, illuminated reticle.
Here we go.
Yeah, red reticle on. And that was helpful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And again, one of the reasons we come do these things is kind of testing it and seeing what are some of the features that make sense. And sometimes we find stuff that doesn't make sense in some of these media events. But I mean, this is something that's not like a pre-production. This is out there in the wild. It's squared away.
Sig Sauer. Hey, have I talked about the cross yet? Because I'm actually pretty sure I've talked about the Sig Sauer cross many times, probably right here on the podcast. But I own one of these. I love the gun, and it fits all those notches that I need in a backcountry, lightweight, on-the-go hunting rifle. It's available in 308, 2776 Sig Fury, 6.5 Creedmoor, and that comes with an 18-inch barrel. That's the one I've got because I like to add a suppressor on it, so gives me a little bit more in barrel length, but it's got a folding precision stock, and man, I love the looks of it. But you know me, I've got to customize it. I had a custom Cerakote job put on it, and it looks so sweet. But it is designed and built here in the USA. You've got to go check this gun out. You will want one, especially if you put your hands on it, because that folding stock is, you can fully customize it to fit you or your kid. So check them out at sigsauer.com. And Lockdown's new secure walls organization products help turn any wall into a gun room, or it just helps you organize your life, which we all need. I'm a big proponent in being organized, especially around a loading bench. I'm new to the reloading game, but the secure walls will help me become better organized, better prepared, so each step is precise because I've got everything put up out of the way and I can grab it when I need it. They are easily put up, they are easily configured, so you can make them what you want. And better yet, you pair it with a vault door and the secure walls, and you turn any room into your own very gun vault. So enter code GUNTALK10 at checkout, and you get 10% off your entire purchase. So get you some secure walls, get some dehumidifiers. Lockdown offers it all, and it's all found at lockdown.com.
I mean, how much hog hunting do you guys do, Mike?
Year-round down here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely year-round.
Year-round, 24/7, right?
Yeah,
Like you could shoot them anytime,
We
right?
can shoot them. They are considered property of the landowner in Florida, and so you don't have to have a license to hunt them. And they're considered basically livestock with the landowner. So you can hunt them year round. And like all these were caught by dogs and stuff. I used to run dogs all the time and kind of got out of that. I'm getting too old for that now.
Yeah.
You're running around chasing them and, swimming in canals trying to get to, a hog that's caught. And so that's no fun anymore.
Like you're saying, it's a commitment. I mean, you release those dogs, you got to go get the dogs.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're treeing the cat. We got to put our hands on these things.
Exactly, yeah. I don't have to touch the cat unless he jumps out of the tree and starts chewing on a dog, which is incredibly rare.
Oh, I bet.
Like people don't understand. Like that's pretty rare. The only time the dog's getting a tussle with a cat on the ground, it's if the cat's wounded usually and can't get up a tree.
Yeah. So with the hogs, the dog's going to actually grab the ear, hold on, and usually it's one dog. And they're holding on, and you come in and you're basically grabbing the back legs and you're just wheelbarrowing them, flipping them over, and then you're putting your knee on them and holding them down until you get help there.
Somebody help me.
Exactly. I've been in those situations that people are hollering, help, help, help.
Yeah.
So,
hurry up.
Seen dogs get thrown,
a bit of a circus.
Yeah, it can be, man. It can be.
So did you have your hounds to chase them, and then did you have heel dogs, catch dogs? Yeah.
And we had dogs that would do both.
Yeah. And did you put the vests on them?
Yep. All the dogs ran Kevlar collars. All the dogs ran, bay vest or whatever. But that's the one thing about houndsmen, and I'm sure just like your buddies out there, they love their dogs. They're going to take care of their dogs. The veterinarians, they're checked up all the time, or these guys are giving them their Ivermectin shots all the time.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that I've seen with anybody that has dogs. They love their dogs and they take care of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of dog is the catch dog versus a chase dog for the hogs?
A lot of times, it's a pit bull mix. They use a lot of cur dogs down here for the bay dogs, and you'll find a real gritty cur dog that'll catch. And it's actually a good dog.
Cool.
He's punching above his weight class.
He's punching way above his weight class. I mean, I used to have a 65-pound black and tan that was just nasty. I mean,
that's a big black and tan.
Yeah, I mean, he would just, anytime he got on something like this, he thought he could catch it all by himself, and he got hurt a lot.
I bet.
Yeah. I bet he did.
Yeah, but
jeez.
it was fun back in the day. But like I said, I'm too old for it now.
Yeah.
You get some dogs that are like that black and tan, like the drive that they have. It's just so much more immense than any other dog you've seen. Like my buddy's one dog, he'll climb trees to try and get the cats.
And it's just in them, right? It's their purpose in life. And I mean, a less dramatic example, but I've had Brittany's who want to point quail, and we're in South Louisiana. It gets warm. You got to let the dogs rest so they don't get overheated. I mean, you have to tie them up so they'll stop hunting.
Yeah.
You can't just tell them.
They just want to keep going.
I mean, they're if you let them go, they're going to collapse.
They will. I've seen it happen down here in the heat. Dogs collapse, and you got to take care of them,
Have you ever seen anybody use a wire hair or a Drathar as
I haven't.
A heel dog?
No, I haven't.
Because I run wire hairs as my bird dogs, and my breeder, he's kind of bred the fur drive out of his bloodline because he wanted them to be, versatile dogs in the sense of waterfowl and upland rather than
not chasing rabbits when you're trying to
and not
upland.
Killing deer and stuff like that. And he got a call from a guy in Texas. He was like, "Hey, my wire hair died. I need one as my heel dog." And it was like, if those hogs ever got past the pit bulls, nothing would make it past the wire hair.
Really?
Yeah. And some of those draughts, those draughts can get big. My bigger wire hair now is 85 pounds.
Wow.
And just
big dog.
Yeah, he's just built. And some of the draughts, I mean, I know guys who say, 100 pounds, and they're just built, and they can be ferocious.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. And I think what we're kind of talking about is I think a lot of us in the outdoor world and the hunting world are drawn towards working dogs with a purpose.
Yeah.
Whether that's a pointing dog, a retrieving dog, a catch dog. It's like, what is, because I'm going through this with my wife right now about getting a dog. I'm like, but what does the dog do? It can't just be.
What is its purpose?
Yeah, why is he here? We got to think about that.
As my wife would say, to aggravate her.
That's
my wife would agree.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. Mike, this is a great place you got down here. And I mean, this South Central Florida.
It's different.
It is way different.
You get off the coast in Florida and you get inland Florida, it's completely old Florida, basically.
Yes.
I mean, it's cattle ranches, thousands and thousands of acres of working cattle ranches down here. 2-lane roads, little tiny towns. You don't have the hustle and bustle of the coast and everybody coming to Florida, on spring break vacation and all that.
Right.
So I like it over here. I mean, we're right now sitting on the northwest shore of Lake Okeechobee where we're at. And it's a different culture over here than, where I live in Naples.
You can tell. Yeah, you can tell it's a different culture. This has been fun. I appreciate it. And I got my first turkey.
Awesome, man.
So now.
And you started with what's supposedly the hardest one to get, right?
Yeah.
At least for the Grand Slam?
Now the problem is you're going to be addicted.
I'm already getting there because that was exciting.
Turkey hunting is addictive. It really is. I mean, it's exciting. You got to see a show today. You got to see that bird gobble. You got to see him strut. Joe, you got to see the same thing. We could hear our bird gobbling a long way off. And Joe says, "Here he comes." And I look over and the bird's strutting all the way in. They're gorgeous to watch come in strutting. And it is. It's an addictive sport. I have done it now for, 30 some years. And I'm obsessed with it. Absolutely obsessed with it.
And the great thing is you can pretty much do it in every state?
Every state except for Alaska.
Every state except for Alaska. So, yeah, NWTF has done one hell of a job over decades and decades of really, there's just turkeys everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, I've been to Hawaii hunting. And actually the new thing now is called Chasing 49. So I think there's 16 people who have completed the 49 right now. My good friend Jason Hart completed it this year. Last year he completed it. He got his 49th bird in Mississippi with Mossy Oak.
Oh, wow.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, so he completed it last year and he's talked me into doing it now. I have 23 more states to go. I'm not in a big hurry to get it done. For me, it's... I don't know, man. It's weird because turkey hunting to me is camaraderie, like what we're doing right now. We're talking about the hunt. We enjoyed the hunt. As soon as we got done, we're giving each other fist bumps and all that. When you're doing this Chasing 49 thing, a lot of times you're hunting by yourself because you don't have the buddies going to the small states of Vermont, Rhode Island, New Jersey, these states that don't really have huge turkey populations. You're trying to accomplish a goal, but you're not taking a buddy along to accomplish that goal with you.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there and you shoot a turkey, and now you're looking around going, okay, who am I celebrating with?
Yeah.
To me, turkey hunting is a companion sport, man. It's fun with your buddies and have fun with it. And like I say, you're going to be addicted to it. You're going to do it again, and the more and more you do it, you're going to fall in love with it.
Yeah, you're right.
It's getting in my blood.
Yeah.
And I've never been a turkey hunter. I mean, I had my first really legitimate turkey hunt. Like, I've killed quite a few turkeys, but, you know, kind of running and gunning and not really knowing what I was doing. I did my first, you know, legitimate turkey hunt last year, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then this one, I was shaking for a while after. I'm like, man, this is fun.
Well, for a lot of people, they get into, or they start hunting with white-tailed deer. I mean, everybody, that's kind of like baseline zero, is because it's just everywhere and it's the most common thing that people hunt. And there are a lot of people who either don't get into hunting because that was their gateway, or they're like, you know, that's kind of like sitting in a stand by myself, and it's not for everybody. And I think turkey hunting and a lot of different type of bird hunting is exactly that. The opposite of that, where it's social, you're hanging out with friends, you don't have to be quiet and still all the time. Yeah. You can do a little talking. But also, like today, I mean, we did 4 different setups in 6 hours or whatever. Yeah. So I mean,
well, that's us this morning. I mean, we went to one ranch, didn't work out there. We got out of there, came back, ran through McDonald's real quick, and I had game cameras out, and I knew where birds were going to be later in the day.
Yeah.
We bounced in there, made one call, bird gobbled as soon as we made our first call.
Really?
Yeah, and we sat down quick, and we were done in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it works out like that. Sometimes you're sitting out there all day. You know? And so it's a different challenge every single day. Every different bird, or every bird is different that you're trying to hunt. So it doesn't always work out the same way.
It was funny. Right after that bird called the first time, we kind of let him settle, and he gobbled again a little bit closer and then shut up for a little bit. And right before he came in, I leaned over to Mike and I was like, I'm just picturing him. He's running in right now. Like, he's just beelining it right to us. And like, just jokingly.
Yeah.
2 minutes later.
2 minutes later, I was like, oh, wow.
Here he comes.
There we go. Willed that one into existence. And I mean, he was on a beeline too, because I was pretty much glued to the edge of that field where I thought he'd be coming from.
Right.
And, you know, peeking through the brush and stuff, watching the corner and, you know, looking over just a little bit. And I turned back for just a second and looked back, and he was just like already, you know, 15 yards in.
Really?
And I was like, he is on a mission. He is coming here right now.
Yeah, he has some words for this decoy.
Yes.
I didn't even have my gun up. I was like relaxing because I thought it was going to take a while. And I was like, uh-oh.
That's what I was so nervous about, because I told Mike I hadn't shot a turkey before, and so he was giving me some tips last night. He was, make sure you have your gun up, you know. Mm-hmm. So all morning, my gun's up. Casey's like, I mean, you can chill.
You get caught with your pants down. I mean, you got your gun laying in your lap. I see a lot of hunters lay it on the ground. Now you got the bird there, you know, and they're looking around. They're wary of what's going on. And you start that movement, boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't matter how much camo you have on, the movement.
Doesn't matter.
The movement gets you.
Yeah.
I did have my gun on my knee, though, so all I had to do was just that. So it wasn't like a terrible amount of movement, but I was still...
And once he got focused on the decoy, we let him keep coming. And he got past us and got toward the decoy and got his fan up. And that's when I told you, okay, go ahead and get yourself moved around, put the gun on him. Yeah. You know, and then I cut at him, got his head up, and then he blew his beard off.
I did do that. That happened.
Well, you know, you never know how it's going to go. It's never the same way twice.
I'm just going to blame the EOTech for that one.
Blame some guy who sighted it in.
It definitely wasn't the EOTech.
We call operator error on that one.
Yeah.
But no, it's, like I say, it's addictive. And it's been great having you guys down here to hunt.
We appreciate it. It's been great.
Man. And I hope you keep it up. I really do.
Yeah.
You know, I think of myself sometimes as an ambassador of turkey hunting. You know, I work with Nomad and everything. And I love to see people get into the sport.
Well, like I said, I think if people are listening to this, watching it, and you've tried different things, I think you have to figure out what's your thing. Like some of us, it doesn't matter. Hunting, we're just going to love all of it. Yeah. But some of us are going to go, oh, I tried this, but I didn't really like that. But I mean, I think turkey probably is a really good gateway into a whole different type of hunting. And you can do it in 49 states, so there you go.
And in the springtime when you're not focused on a bunch of other stuff, so.
Yeah, it's the other thing. Yeah.
Good
Extend your hunting season. Well, guys, thanks for being on with us.
Yeah,
Of course, thanks for having us.
It was fun. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you next time on Gun Talk Hunt.